nice. It's a cool shirt.
Yeah, I'm really into sports.
I can
He
tell.
he has referred to Remember the Titans as Meet the Titans
Oh, that's
for
good.
his
That's a good one.
podcast, Stephen.
Dude, what is
Uh,
that? What I was thinking of Meet the Spartans. Is there an what is that from?
You're thinking
that,
of Meet the Fockers, or
There's a thing called Meet the Spartans, right? It's a spoof of
is it?
300. I think it's a spoof of 300.
so this is the Him podcast. We're doing football today. I figured the Dallas Cowboys was the closest soap opera to what we just watched. So that's what I'm breaking out on here today. This is
I would have
Stephon
put it.
Gilmore, though, not Dion.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is that when did Stefan play on the Cowboys? Like 2 years ago?
They got their ass kicked by the Packers in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
that was the year. I would wear my
What a
tour
game.
jersey, but I threw it in the trash.
All
All
right.
right.
I remember Sam sending me out when I saw this trailer. I was really excited about it. I went to see some movie and they're showing all these horror trailers. I'm like, this movie looks awesome. Texting everyone in the group chat, like, let's plan around this release. And someone sent me that it's like 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. And then on
It,
Letterboxd, it's 2.6 stars. And like
it's
JP
gone
wasn't,
down since yesterday. I gave it a 4,
and
and
JP
it was a
wasn't
2.7. It was a 2.7 yesterday. Now it's at a 2.6.
And JP wasn't interested in this at all. I just don't get it. I went in and thought it was awesome, and I don't understand.
I don't think it was bad. I think it's on par with Weapons. So I don't understand why Weapons is getting so much love while this isn't.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the whole time that it was really fun to look at. Like it was an incredibly shot movie, and even if the plot like went in and out, I was like, wow, it looks great, and like all the scenes they choose, and like all the. I mean, I loved it. Like, I mean, I have some minor issues with it, but I thought it was gonna be pretty well received when I read all the reviews, and like some people online, like, not just like Letterboxd, like critics are like railing this movie. Like I don't know why that is, but I think this will be a pretty pro him
What
pod. I don't think we're gonna
what,
be bashing it here.
what have you guys
Here's
seen? Like
here's some
what
of the
critiques? Okay, go ahead.
here's some of the critiques in short phrases. Thematic overload and lack of cohesion. So too many themes that it's juggling.
Okay.
Unfocused plot and execution. Subpar dialogue and character development. There's our movie critic negatives.
I do think there's a lot of competing themes of the movie. The first one that I mean they were hitting on for what I thought was going to be the majority of the movie was like what does it take to be great? And like what if Tom Brady was secretly like a monster who killed people and had these sadistic practices and that was the reason why he's so good. I thought it was a really interesting way like to explore the ideas. I was a little disappointed in the ending. I didn't like how after the showdown between Marlon Wayne's character and Tariq Whitehead, or not Tariq Whitehead, that's a real person. Um, Tariq Withers is the name of the actor. I thought their showdown was going to be the end of the movie, and then we had this big like. Also, you have to kill all the owners too, which didn't.
Let's do the what it takes to be great thing first. So if you're going to critique the themes, they show us Isaiah White, 8-time Super Bowl champion, one more than Tom
That's what
Brady,
I have that
the
written
GOAT.
down. One more than Tom Brady. That was clearly a. There's a reason they picked 8 and not like 7 or 6 or 5.
Every time that Cam Cade goes to party, he's like, nah, I'm watching tape. He's going to do whatever. He's like, nah, I'm watching tape. He has no other life outside of this compound that he lives and works at. His wife is fucking going around being a social media star at the parties. He's at home watching tape. His dad.
You could have stopped that comment at his wife is going around fucking.
Yeah, also that. Like
Yeah.
he's sacrificed his family too. He's literally given up everything to be great. I don't think it needed to be communicated anymore, and I thought it was pretty well said. And I'm really not annoyed at you. I'm annoyed at this when I look up issues with it, and it's like overly thematic or whatever the phrase was I said.
I'm not gonna lie. I think you're hitting on something that maybe I'm wrong in connecting these dots, but the whole theme of the movie has to do with sacrificing and like struggle and trying hard to like be great. We we have people that like are sitting at home and like they go to music festivals and they like review movies and they're
Yeah,
just like This is fucking stupid. I don't get it. Like they
That's
can't relate to it.
yeah. It's so easy to just sit there and critique something instead of like going and making something yourself. Also, this was a short movie. It was like an hour and a half, right? Like
Hour,
I love that
yes.
part of it. It moved.
exactly.
I felt like there were no spare, like there was no spare minutes. Like we got in, we got out, and like I was like, okay, good.
I know everyone's
Yeah.
been conditioned to 2.5 hour movies, but like they did a great job here of getting in what needed to be got and getting us out of the theater. And
Dude,
also
I hate.
they sold
Sorry.
30 minutes of previews to this movie. I I was late as fuck on the city bike getting over there. And it's usually like 23 minutes. I walked in 7 minutes later than that. Movie still hasn't started. So advertisers must have been excited about this. I haven't looked at the box office numbers, but right out of the gate, the Saviors and the Masons are playing each other in in
Yeah, the
the
Masons, the Saviors, the Masons, like
you got no comment on the Masons, Stephen?
I thought the Christianity references were a little like hitting us over the head with it. I mean, who would really name I say that, but like we do have the New Orleans Saints, so I don't know who would name their team the Saviors. We have the New Orleans Saints.
We do have the same.
I mean, the Cardinals aren't because of the priests; they're the birds. But
Well, this is a
Fun fact.
satanic. This is about selling your soul to the devil. That's why there's so many religious themes in it. Isaiah is literally from the Bible, the name of Marlon Wayans' character, and he's a prophet that like predicts all of these things. And he's walking around with his cross earrings. They're in Texas, but the Masons is not necessarily a Christian thing. That's like a secret society thing. The Masons are the one that injure Marlon Wayne's character here, which sets him up to be able to sign this contract for invulnerability. Like the Masons and the Saviors are working together here, just
uh,
like the Saviors guy hit him over the head.
yeah. Oh, who was the guy that hit Cameron Cade in the opening scene?
The big dude who we see, the same guy who's manning the machine that's hitting the other guy in the face with footballs. I think it's that guy.
I thought that was like the mascot that we see walking around with the axe all the time.
Well, that's the big dude that he ends up, spoiler alert, that's a big dude who's standing behind him at the end that he just swings the sword and kills. And I'm pretty sure that's the same guy who was manning the machine that was
Okay, I
hitting
see
the
what you're
other guy
saying.
with
Yeah, I
footballs in
think
the
you're
face.
right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
All right. The religion thing, though, Stephen, we both love football, but
Yeah.
they're saying football is a religious blood sport all the way through this movie, and you forget. I played football for 10 years. You forget, and you just watch it on TV, like you forget how violent it is. And that scene where he finally kind of turns the corner and headbutts the blitzing linebacker and
Yeah.
cracks his neck or whatever, and he's yelling, "Dead body alert! Dead body alert! Somebody come get this dead body up off the ground." That's how it is for teenagers in high school playing football and even younger
Yeah.
than that. And the whole thing where the dad got a shrine to Isaiah White in his house and teaching him from an early age, this is our religion. We love the Saviors. I have kind of moved away from football a little bit like that the last few years. Just like, why am I basing my entire happiness off of how the Panthers fucking play this weekend?
I mean, I thought with the headbutt scene and then the linebackers coming down and doing the bodily movement of when someone gets concussed really badly and how it was played for such horrific effect in the movie
Mhm.
with the x-ray shot. And if you've never seen football, you're like, wow, this is horrible. What an act of violence. And I thought to myself, my hometown team's quarterback, this has happened to him on 3 separate occasions on national television. And everybody just kind of like shrugs their shoulders and be like, Tua, you fucking idiot. Why did you let yourself get hurt again? And I mean, I really felt that. And then I was like, wow, like,
And then your team gave
y-
him $150 million.
yeah. And then our team paid him $200 million. Like,
We
that, I mean, that was a really affecting scene for me as a football fan, where it's like, it's played really effectively as like severe violence, but in real life, the actual like looking at that happen in real life does not carry the same emotional weight that it did in a movie when it wasn't real.
No, I mean, that's a big part of why I'm not a football fan. My dad hated the idea of me getting a head injury and would not allow me to play football ever. I definitely expressed interest at the same age everyone else does. And he's a Woodstock hippie dude. He's anti-sports when it comes to like contact. Like,
He's
I
like,
was never
you'll
a.
damage your brain enough with the alcohol. You don't need football.
Yeah.
All right. What about what about that leg bone?
I was watching it with my girlfriend, and she looked down at the exact moment the leg bone popped up, and I like hit her. I was like, "Oh, did you see that?" She's like, "No."
Dude,
See,
I
I
looked
That's
down
thought
too.
probably for the best. That was pretty
I
gory.
I missed it. I missed it. I think I was eating popcorn. I looked down.
Yeah, it was literally a split second on like the opening 2 or 3 minutes of the movie. You just see it.
That's when he's like, "See, son, that's what a real man's like."
yeah, no guts, no glory. And after they pan to him and show him being injured, and thank you to our sponsor, Gold Bar, for their participation in this or whatever. Like,
Deodorant, yeah, or whatever it was.
I'm not gonna lie. There was one thing in that scene that I was stuck out to me. Why'd they use this picture of Marlon Wayans? I'm like, we know what he looks like when he's young. Use a young picture of him or deep fake it. Because whenever we
yeah,
saw the movie F1, for example, we get a callback to what Brad Pitt looks like as a young driver. It's not like they just used the same picture of him now. Except for this, I'm like, I'm looking at 40-year-old Marlon Wayans, but it's supposed to be 20,
50.
15. Yeah, it's supposed to be like
he's a
Marlon
15
Wayans is
years
almost
prior.
50.
he's a pretty boy though. I don't know. He's
Yeah.
too pretty for the gridiron. No guts and
You think?
glory out here.
Yeah, I wish they just de-aged him a little
Yeah.
bit. I was just like,
I see.
Another issue I found with the movie, it was tough for Marlon Wayans to be the tough guy when his co-star is 6'5" and Marlon Wayans is like 5'11", 5'10", right?
mm,
He's like 8
probably.
inches shorter than the protege. And
These
like I
guys,
looked it up. Tariq Withers was a walk-on at Florida State. So
Mm.
he wasn't like a D1 athlete. He never got playing time, but he did make the team. So they actually got a real college football athlete to play the college football part, and it shows. I mean, I thought that was one of the real highlights of the movie was they got an actual athlete to be the star of the movie instead of like it's really clear that Marlon Wayans is an actor and this other guy is an
Boy,
athlete that's also an
if they
actor.
grew athlete actors on trees,
There'd be a lot more of them. Yeah, they'd all be 6'5" instead of 5'8".
Marlon Wayans is carrying like some alpha energy just from like who he is on the screen. And they're even
Yeah.
when they're showing the older shoulder pads and the older helmets compared to his helmet and then Cade's like super advanced linebacker helmet he calls, like I thought that was part of I thought Cade being more physically imposing was part of the evolution that's supposed to be going on here. And he did I don't know if maybe Cade did a good job of acting humble or timid, but I just bought at the beginning that Marlon Wayans was Tom Brady, and you could sense the difference in just their energy as
He did
opposed to
carry
the
around
size.
a certain confidence that the Cameron Cade doesn't have and really doesn't get until like the very end.
You also just don't need to be 6'5" to be the
okay,
quarterback.
I want to touch on that for a second. So we're sure this man is 6'5".
I'm just saying, like, to be the best quarterback, you don't have to be the most physically imposing athlete.
It says 6'5". That's what they listed as,
Yeah.
and that's what they say in the movie. And they say that the actor in real life is 6'5". I know for a fact that at least athletes actually get measured. I don't trust an actor claiming that because Superman, for example,
Even the athletes, like this has been a big thing recently. The NBA
Really?
for years just let them lie about their height, and one of them, even Kevin Durant, is actually 7'1", but he lists himself as 6'9" because he doesn't want to be.
Famously doesn't want to be known as a 7-footer because if you tell someone you're 7 feet, they're like, "Why don't you dribble a ball so much?" So he told everybody for years he was 6'9" or 6'10" when he's really like 7 feet tall or 7'1".
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
so
I don't trust these motherfuckers unless it's completely proven. Because, for example, with Superman, that actor David Cornswen, he proclaims himself as 6'4", and he jumped on the lie
That's
detector.
questionable.
He jumped on the lie detector test. The very first question Nicholas Hoult asked him, he played Lex. He was like, "Have you ever lied about your height?" And he was like, "What? I mean, no." And then the thing said, "That's a lie." I just asked because I know for a fact I'm 6'2". I go to the doctor. They measured me at 6'2", and we're at the same height. So I'm just wondering where those 2 inches came from. Marlon Wayans is probably 5'8", and Tyreek's probably 6'2". I'm not
yeah,
buying
so
the other. Like,
yeah, okay. I think the last thing we were talking about was them doing enough with the themes. One thing I wrote down in that interview scene with the girlfriend and the loudmouth brother behind the camera, they didn't need to give us 3 more shots of the girlfriend being protective. They didn't need to give us more shots of the loudmouth brother being a fool. The reporter asked him, "Are the girls coming after you?" She's like, he's happily taken. Write that down. And the loudmouth brother pops off, and the mom's like, you were too busy running your mouth. You weren't training. Get the fuck out of here. Those are real people in athletes' lives that we see on ESPN all the time. The people that drag them down or cause all this drama or whatever. I thought they quickly handled it and moved on.
Yeah, for people that watch sports all the time, the family members of star athletes is well-trodden path. You just know about it. These types of people are very real. They're in every family. I mean, just look at, did you guys see, it's a little off like tangible, like LeVar Ball, he got diabetes and he had to get one of his legs amputated.
Oh, well, that was like a year ago, but yeah.
The most recent video I've seen is him getting fit for his prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
He's just talking mad shit and being like LeVar Ball walking around the hospital parking lot, like with his new foot.
Yeah.
But like he's like a classic sports dad. But yeah, I mean, they didn't have to do too much of the family. They did just enough. Another thing I liked was, I mean, I think overall, when the critics said overly thematic, like, I'm like, no, I thought the movie looked so good. That was one of the biggest parts and why I liked it so much. You go to the movie theater and like a lot of movies just look really bad and you kind of get bored watching it if the dialogue is bad or you don't like the story. If you were sitting there like, I don't understand the story. Why do they care so much about football? At least you're watching something and being like very visually stimulating. Um,
Yeah,
the
see,
helmet view,
I don't watch football, and I was
yeah,
stimulated. I was paying attention.
I thought the helmet view was so cool
Helmet view is super effective.
because
Costume
like,
of the costume of the mascot.
what were those shirts like the practice jerseys? Does Under Armour practice
Yeah, what
shirts
the
have
fuck
like
was
these
that?
weird dots on them now? I've never seen that before.
Ribbed for
Which
pleasure.
one?
Yeah, every shirt they were wearing is ribbed.
The
Every
ones that
tank top.
the ones that made them look like condoms. The ribbed for pleasure
Yeah.
shirts.
We wore some stuff like that for extra padding under your uniform. I didn't think that during this, but there's all kinds of shit they put on people now to track their speed and record random analytical stuff. I just assumed he was out there wearing the most advanced thing quarterbacks train in right now, and Nike was definitely trying to sell that in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, all the hot like new Nike stuff. Yeah.
I could see that being just shorthand for like, look, futuristic.
Yeah. He then the agent, very typical sports agent, sleazy white guy working with the black
dude.
family. First time we see him, Cade has gotten hit and he's walking through the crowd and they're giving him all the questions and he's like, asking him, can you confirm something? And the agent jumps in. He's like, I can confirm I'm pulling out of your mom today. Who is it, Sam?
Dude, it's all right. So I'm sitting there watching this movie, just kind of like half interested. It's barely started. I'm like, here it is, real man. Someone got tackled. And then as soon as Tim Heidecker showed up, I was like, let's fucking go. He's from this Adult Swim show called Tim and Eric, and he's known for super absurdist like comedy. He's on level with Eric Andre. Like they're the same level of like comedian.
Oh.
He does shit that's just off the wall, and he had his own TV show for years, and he'd pop up occasionally. But he's not a serious actor. Yeah, he's a comedian, and he must be just friends with Jordan Peele because they both had like sketch comedy shows.
He's in Eastbound and Down, but that's the only thing I've seen him in besides
dude,
this.
Dude, he's hilarious. You gotta, I love that guy.
Did you know that Jim Jeffries, also being the trainer, also stand-up comedian? That must be another Jordan Peele connection through comedy circles.
Dude, what is it with these comedians being the best at doing horror? We got Jordan Peele, we have Zach Krieger, we have Tim Heidecker. All of these comedians seem to translate really well to horror.
They go to weird places in their comedy.
I think it's all about timing, because to be good at comedy, you have to be good at timing. And to be good at horror, you have to be good at timing it.
Yeah. They did self-proclaim this as horror.
I forgot to mention Marlon Wayans in the same breath as comedians. This is Mr. White Chicks, and he's killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, he already proved himself in Requiem for a Dream, in my opinion, but this is definitely his best serious work.
I was overwhelmed myself once Cameron Cade's looking at his phone and getting all the notifications coming to it before he turns it off. His brother's like, you need a haircut. And as soon as he goes near his head with that razor and the stitches, I was like, what are you doing? This is not good. How about the brother just ripping the fucking stitches out of his traumatic brain injury?
Like what the fuck, bro? Like, how stupid are you? Avoid the staples in my head, man.
That made me cringe in my seat. I got a visceral reaction out of me.
They attack Cam Cade to tank his draft stock so they can sign him. Otherwise, he would have been the number one pick. And Marlon Wayne's character is considering retirement. And we're already getting some of the satanic and religious themes. And I wrote down in my notes, does he have to get someone to accept to take his place? He can't just retire. I don't think. If we find out he signed this contract or whatever, until someone defeated him in that little final Coliseum battle, he was going to be the quarterback forever.
Now, is that where y'all thought this was going? Because I thought it was going somewhere else.
I wasn't. I didn't necessarily think that they were going to fight each other, but I did think he was going to have to make a deal with Wayne's to replace him for Wayne's to like get out of the deal with the devil.
Well, speaking of Get Out, I thought this was going to be more of a Get Out or Death Becomes Her situation where it's like, oh, he has found his new body and he is going to take over this vessel.
Yeah.
It did seem like there was a lot of that happening for most of the movie where that's where it was leading. I was definitely expecting those two to fight. I thought the movie was going to end when Cameron Cade defeats Isaiah White, faded to black or faded to white, I guess, he's like walking out the tunnel. I wasn't really expecting the entire end. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, that would have made him, just part of the machine, Steven. This is where we get the true anti-hero thing going on here.
Yeah.
He bursts out of the evil white overseers, kills them all. I'm gonna be my own man. Was he mixed? Like his mom?
Yeah. Let's talk about that because you said evil white overseers. I can get tan into that motherfucker.
And they call him African. Wayne's calls him African, but his dad looks pretty. Both of his parents look pretty black to me.
We literally have the same haircut right now.
Same
color and everything.
It's the same amount of curliness.
Yeah. Have you guys seen Atlanta?
Yes.
Yeah.
Say it.
This is the guy from Atlanta. This is the first thing I saw him in. They did an entire episode about this dude's racial ambiguity. They brought him in. He was a guest star. And the episode was an hour long instead of a half hour. And he was the main person in it. And now he pretends to be white for the first 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden it becomes advantageous for him to then play on the black side of his heritage, and he slowly morphs over the course of the final 30 minutes of the show.
Where's my diamond earrings? Let me shave my head.
Yeah,
but no, dude.
But I didn't see the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot, but he's in it. And I'm like, I wonder what his hair is in the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot.
Dude, my favorite joke from that Atlanta episode is he's arguing with that other dude, Felix. And Felix is from Nigeria or whatever. Like
Nigeria.
Yeah, and he's arguing with him and he's like, well, you're not really black, saying that to the Nigerian dude. And this guy's midnight black, like Fanta black. And then he's arguing. And he's like, you're not really black because you know about your heritage. Felix replies to him and he's like, shut the fuck up. You look like Frankie fucking Muniz. Every time I see Tyreek Withers, I think to myself, there's Frankie Muniz.
That's Frankie Muniz. Get one over on everybody again. That was always one of the episodes that stuck in my mind.
You touch on the Last Supper in terms of the religious allegories yet?
Yeah, they show that at the end, but even when he's
doing his little fake press junket. There's a scene where he's sitting in the middle.
Out and everyone's at the table.
There's another one in the sauna. They set the sauna up like that and they put him in the middle of it. And then they just straight show it at the end.
And they're talking about consuming the blood. I'm like, dude, that's classic like Catholicism, Christianity. Like, my blood, eat my body.
But they give you but they give you this story about Native Americans drinking the blood of the greatest warriors who have fallen to pass it on. That was creative, but this is from like an old myth that's in the 1960s movie called The Last Man on Earth. It's like an I Am Legend thing, but I thought they did a cool little thing to weave it in. I don't know if it's true about the Native Americans playing the Yale team and inventing the forward pass.
I looked it up.
Yeah, that is true.
That part interested me. I'm not too interested in the sports, but as soon as there was history mentioned, I was like, oh, let me look.
Sam's watching this and he's like, man, I need to know who invented the forward pass.
That is, dude. I'm over there like, how historically accurate is this?
I didn't know about the Indian part of it, but I did know that the forward pass was like allowed in football because it was like people were dying. Like, it was literally like so many people were dying playing the sport without the forward pass. They like that when they changed the rule, that was like what made football take off.
Well, that makes sense why so many
And that's
fucking teams
why
out there have Native American mascots though. I'm like, "Oh, okay, this makes perfect sense." You could choose from a lot of things. I'm like, there's way too many of them that are Native American.
not here, not in our backyard. That's why there's only one Vikings.
No,
Yeah, we get Vikings, and
you
then
know
like we get
now.
like the Patriots, like the Minutemen.
Yeah, you can't.
Those are
Hey,
the
Yeah,
ones
hey,
we get to
we knocked
choose
off
without
both
I
of
want
the
wanting them.
we knocked
I
off
want to
both of the
highlight
white warriors, and now we're stuck with the
I want to
the people that
highlight
grew
that
up here.
I knew about the Native Americans that Jordan
That
didn't.
is that is.
I'm so sports coded.
Did you see the Clutch Athletics hoodie, Steven?
No, I didn't. I did
Yeah,
not see
I think
the
I
clutch
think
stuff.
Isaiah was wearing it at one point. But yeah, even it being in, they choose Texas, the football place in America, and San Antonio is named after some Catholic priest or something, I'm pretty sure. And
Yeah,
then
Saint Anthony probably.
Cam asked him about the injuries. How'd you get back on the field? He's like, damn near killed myself rehabbing. Family's only going to take you so far. And they're alluding, what's he going to have to do? He almost have to kill himself. And then the next scene, his wife walks in and has the asshole vibrator. And she's just
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah, we make
the
these for
butt
men
plug.
now. Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was Julia Fox until my girlfriend told me after the show. I'm like, who was that? And she's like,
I
that's Julia
also,
Fox. I'm like, when does she start looking like that?
she definitely
Apparently
looks
after
different.
she broke up with Kanye West.
She's
Oh,
like, I need
she's
to,
So
that bitch.
yes.
she must have dated Kanye West 4 or 5 years ago. I'm like, that's not the same lady that was in Uncut Gems.
No comment on the asshole vibrator, Sam? Butt plug?
That I immediately got Gwyneth Paltrow vibes. You remember whenever she tried to sell a candle that smelled like her vagina?
Jesus.
A
Yeah,
goop flavor candle? I know about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
I was
was a
like,
really it was sold out. They did a limited run and it sold out.
I listened to a podcast. It's these I can't remember the name of it, but both of the podcast reviewers are homosexual men, and they were talking about that scene, and they were like, "Hey, I think we have the authority to speak on this. That would not be comfortable going in your orifice. Why is it pointy?"
Why is it pointy?
Yeah, they were
Why does it
like
have
that.
edges? It has edges like an extruded octagon.
Yeah, they were like
Yeah,
that
that
would not that shouldn't be going in any orifice. That's what they said.
The white wife here. I don't remember anything where they directly said this. I just felt like it was a little more of his sellout mentality or something. But that's the thing too. Like the black athletes always leave their black girlfriends for a white lady once they sign their big contract. Sam,
I Why? I mean, yeah, figure that.
but did
But
as a non-sports person, did you feel anything like that, or am I just projecting?
no, you're probably correct, but I thought it was more leaning into this direction where whenever that one interviewer says, "Wow, it looks like he could be your son," because it showed him standing in between both of them.
Yeah,
All right, there's this one episode of Batman Beyond where listen, it ties into this. Ra's al Ghul wants to take over Bruce Wayne's body and he makes him younger, and then he's gonna like take it over. And he's like, I'm gonna show up and proclaim myself as the long lost son of Bruce Wayne and take over your company. And I'm like, yeah, this is tying into my theory where he's gonna take over his body and proclaim himself, oh, I'm the long lost son of this famous football
yeah.
player.
Well, that obviously wasn't the case. Like at the end. So what did they mean by he could be your son? Did they just throw that in there?
I
I think
guess.
they just he's just biracial
Big
and
thing.
he's
Yeah.
standing right in between Marlon Wayans and Julia Fox. I think that's
Uh,
all that was meant to get at.
we haven't talked much about the actual training. He he's there, and this doctor's just jamming needles into his body, shooting him up with shit. No idea what it is. That shit was stressing me out. But then he went under the ice while he was in the ice bath, and they they stuck him with a needle while he was under the ice. And I was feeling like there was some symbolism there.
I wish they had gone into more detail about what exactly they were sticking him with. The little shrug your shoulder syringe. I wish the actual drug or whatever dramatic like fluid gets like put inside you to help you get through these trials was like explored more. That was something I was like left hanging on.
It was just little doses of the blood.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But the little smiley face on there was cool and made me think about the substance for a second.
So when they describe like him saving blood for a rainy day. Is that what blood doping is? Like I always hear that phrase like performance enhancing drugs. Like is blood doping like
Uh,
injecting yourself with blood when you have when there's more oxygen in it? And like I just don't know. I
I
know that's
thought
what Lance Armstrong got dinged on, right?
I think what he did is Lance Armstrong would take steroids, but then whenever it was time to get a blood test, he would get all of his blood switched out with like clean blood that wouldn't pop positive.
When you put your own blood back into your body for these circumstances, it's harder for them to test. So the blood doping is you take out your own blood, you store it, and then you reinfuse it just before a competition.
But it
So
is your
that's it.
blood that because I thought it was.
Well, they're using their own blood because of drug tests. You could use someone else's, but
That's what I thought was.
they can test for it better.
They make the comment at the end that that blood belonged to whoever was the original him, and
Yeah,
they just
yeah.
keep doing the blood transfusions.
No, I don't think that they have a vial of the old guy's blood around. I think that they infused Marlon Wayans with it, and now he's producing the blood, and he's taking it out, putting it in that bag, and giving it to Cam Cade. We didn't talk about when they approached the compound of all of the fans who have traveled out into the desert to
Oh,
stand outside
Marjorie.
of Isaiah
Marjorie,
White.
that was the best part.
Yeah.
The crazy blonde lady was named Marjorie. That shit cracked me up.
That was great. And she's like, we don't fucking want you here. Spits all over their window. And he does a really good job of looking like freaked out by her. And then obviously she crawls out from under the bench in the sauna and tries to kill him. Tell me what's going on there.
Well, I personally, my theory is that it's just exemplifying how weird fucking sports fans can be. And I mean, all fans can be weird. People love to rag on superheroes, but could call them nerds. I'm like, those motherfuckers are just as much nerds as anyone else.
No,
We got that fat dude in the tunnel, like, sign my forehead. And I'm like, these guys are nerds. They're just nerds for sports.
No,
I
they're
mean, I
religious
remember,
fanatics. They are,
yeah,
she's willing to murder to ensure she doesn't think he's good enough. She's willing to murder to ensure that her franchise lives on as the Super Bowl champions.
and regarding sports, there's like for nerd shit. It must have been some point when I was in my early 20s, but like at a certain point, like you watch the NFL back then, Oakland Raiders game, and you see all the fans that would go to Oakland and now Vegas games and like completely decked out in like this weird black and silver Oakland Raider, American Gladiator, Battle of the Network Stars shit. And you see it as a teenager and you don't even think about it. You play Madden, these same people are in Madden, the crazy fans wearing the same shit, and like, oh yeah, those are Raider fans. And you look at it again as a 25 and like, who the fuck are these people? They make it all themselves and they come in, they just go fucking crazy. You know? Man, the Raiders have been doggy dick my entire life. Like, you still go out there every Sunday, be like, I love the Raiders.
Well, that's their
Yeah,
religion is the Raiders. And how about those
yeah.
Mad Max lackeys that follow her into the sauna and are devastated after her death?
What was did
He's
you
gonna get
recognize
something
any of
from
those
Sam there
people?
with Mad Max. What people?
I'm trying to
Any
keep
of
it going.
the Mad Max people?
The actors? No.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Okay. Um, what about the free agents with nothing to lose that they bring in? We even talk about the guy getting his head bashed in with the ball machine, but they're just like, we don't care about these people that I don't know. What were they there to do? Make the team? There was no team tryouts.
I thought they were there to just, it's a pro day, right? Don't wide receivers come to
Yeah.
quarterback pro days to just catch passes from dudes before the draft all the
Someone
time?
asked them to come in. Yeah.
Yeah, just come in, catch some balls. That's it. I did notice that they picked the white guy to be the like the sacrifice, and that was a nice little like inversion where it's like, this is a black-centered movie when all the clownish characters, the people that die unnecessarily, are the white people instead of the black people. I'm like, all right, that that tracks.
And he was the only white guy out there, I'm pretty sure. So that probably
Yeah,
goes
he
what you're
was.
saying.
Yeah.
The
Well,
black guy getting killed in horror movies.
besides the main character, but yeah.
No, I'm saying of the group of free agents that they brought in, there was the token white guy, free
Yeah,
agent.
yeah.
He volunteered to get his head bashed in.
I'm just
Um,
making another joke about how white Tyreek is. But keep
Yeah,
going.
okay. He's really stressed out by all of this, and he's waking up in the middle of the night. Creepy shit's happening to him. And then I don't remember exactly when his turn starts, but when they're out there at the gun range, that's when he finally turns it on. Waynes tries to make a trade with him. Like, if you miss, I get your vitality, get your youth or something. And he's like, nah, I'll earn it myself. And then just shoots that guy in the head, kills him.
See, that also made me think, oh, yeah, he's going to possess his body. The writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Did you think in the final scene when they brought back out the head of the guy that he shot on the range, it was going to be some member of his family? I thought it was going to be a real Seven type situation where the faceless man that he shot on the range was going to be somebody very close to him.
I thought it was going to be his
And then
brother,
that
or
would compel him to then sign the contract, the overwhelming guilt.
yeah, I thought it was going to
But
be his
they
brother.
didn't do that. I thought it was going to be either his brother or his girlfriend, for
Are
sure.
we supposed to assume that it was the girl though, because they're talking about the crazy Marjorie girl, and then he's like, "Oh, what girl?" And then they drag the body out right after. So I'm like, is that supposed to mean that that body inside of that mascot's her?
Probably, yeah.
That's my best
I
guess.
think they're about to go to the party. And finally, he's like telling him to go have fun. Humane Lemonade starts playing. But then the medic tells him to run at that party. And
Yeah.
all the owners and people are fucking around. And did he sleep with someone? I was confused in that transition. When he wakes up the next morning, Marlon Wayans is there and he pulls out a gun and he's like, "Did you fuck her?" And I thought he went home with his wife, but it didn't seem like that's what happened.
They didn't show it. They tried to make
Okay.
him be very chivalrous when he's like, "No, man, I got a girlfriend."
Yeah.
So they try to make him be the good guy all the way to the end.
They do a good job of showing the fans cheering on a bunch of these cutscenes where you're talking about the Raiders fans. But the MVP trophy, that was just sticking out like a murder weapon the entire time they showed it in the movie.
Oh yeah, how pointy it was.
Or someone's going to put it up their asshole.
Yeah, that too. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. I think the medic was the guy who's like, when two gladiators enter the Coliseum, only one goes out. And that's when I
Yeah.
was like, okay, they're going to have to fight each other. I don't remember why he does walk into that room ahead of the confrontation. Was he just going to see him?
Yeah, I think that was it. I don't think there was
Yeah.
any premise for why they were meeting up.
He says something. He's like, I got into this because I believed in health. I wanted to help heal people. Like this stuff is fucked up. I could have had a family. I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm doing here anymore.
Once he gets his head cut off, Cade's puking up diamonds.
That might
Oh,
be some
you
of the
see-
heavy-handed symbolism that I think some viewers are like, what's going on here? Like, it's
Yeah.
all cool, but some of it's like style over substance, I guess, in certain scenes where I'm like, I get it. Oh, excess is like intoxicating
Yeah.
and whatever, but it's like as subtle as a sledgehammer.
But that's where I was confused about like some of the stuff that he was seeing as visions and like what was actually happening. Because he also pulls the mask off of the guy that he shot and it's his own face in one of his
Yeah.
visions.
I also got to say, like, for a movie that starts out with you had a really bad brain injury, and in this world, the brain injury dropped him not just from being maybe the first overall pick, but undrafted. Like, this was such a terrible brain injury that he slid through like 250 picks. It really didn't affect him at all. The visions are part of it, but he got hit in the head with an axe and he has
Yeah.
the scar. But other than the scar, if you walked in 2 minutes late, you would have no idea that he suffered a horrible injury. He showed no ill effects from it the entire movie.
They made it very they made that scar as attractive as they could, because in reality what you would do is you would shave a big old circle, or at least a big patch, so you'd have just like a big stripe of baldness and then the scar. They wouldn't just be like, all right, let me
Yeah.
staple it over your perfect hair and then give you a lineup.
I feel like they were showing some concussion symptoms, but I think that was part of the blood transfusion. Like, you know, he's out there running in the desert and he collapses. But like as they continue to inject him, he continues to get stronger. He's even like poisoned at the beginning, I think.
In one of those little x-ray visions, whenever he gets injected, because you know how he gets injected, it'll show his eyes get darker and all this other kind of shit happen. In one
Yeah.
of those little x-ray visions, it showed the injury on his head like fuse back together. The skull was cracked and it showed it fuse back. So I think he's pretty much healed. I'm like, they could take
Yeah.
those staples out.
What about the fight scene? Did Isaiah want to win the fight? I'm fine with him hitting him with the helmet, but just classic villain stands over victory and loses it for no reason. Turns around, lets him pick up a helmet. After a pretty gnarly armbar, this man picks up a
Yeah.
helmet and just KOs him.
Yeah, that was They should have honestly shown the arm more. I completely forgot that his arm was broken because then he kind of goes out in the final scene and is like, nothing happens with his arm in the
It's
final
just
scene
limp.
after
It's
that,
just
right?
limp beside him. It's just limp beside him.
Oh, so he does the whole final scene with like his other arm.
Yeah.
Okay. But you wouldn't have known that. Like, again, if you would like close your eyes for a second and you missed the arm bar, but then you
Yeah.
watch the final scene, you wouldn't have been like, wow, he did that all with a broken arm.
Oh,
You would,
oh,
it would have just
I'm
been like,
I'm gonna lend one theory that just popped into my head. We just talked about how the injury on his skull fused back together, and we know that the main character's leg was basically
Yeah.
ripped off, and now he's 8 times champion. Maybe he's got Wolverine level healing, where
yeah,
he's
he's Wolverine now.
like you know what I mean, to a degree. Like it's like his
Sam
arm.
Sam found a way to fit Superman, Batman, and Wolverine into this him podcast.
What can I say? And I'm talented.
That was impressive.
What about the agent? So he kills all the, the owners are out there in their pigskin masks. That was pretty good. What about the agent? He doesn't kill him, but he gets drug onto a little witchcraft board, and he gets sacrificed. I don't know what that got Cam Cade in this scenario though.
And I don't know why the agent. What, are we to assume that if Cam Cade signed the contract, he was going to be the one that was put in the middle of the star and had some horrible fate happen to him for him to be the quarterback?
Yeah, that part confused me.
I don't understand about the
Oh,
where he perishes. Maybe there was
maybe
someone else there they could have put there. The mascot. The mascot's
maybe it
hanging
was
on the cross too.
maybe it was supposed to be Marlon. Maybe because I don't think he was supposed to just attack him out of nowhere with the trophy. I think they were both supposed to end up out there and then have their battle
Well, they had to fight.
Oh,
because they had the
Them.
weapons laid down on the ground too, right?
Oh, good. And it was shaped like the Colosseum.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
maybe it was supposed to
Cheerleaders
be him.
Cheerleaders were unaffected. They just kept cheering, pom pomming away.
Well, they had weird face masks too. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they were just making the cheerleaders like they're not real people. They're just there to be the cheerleaders, and you don't need to know anything about them individually.
Hold on, I think it might be a metaphor.
it's
I'm being
funny.
sarcastic.
It's funny how that's like completely flipped if you think about the Cowboys. Like I've watched that DCC cheer show on Netflix the last 2 summers. I'm much more
I know you
interested in
have.
like the lives of these cheerleaders than I am of the players on the Dallas Cowboys or the outcome of the team. Like so that in real life for at least one NFL team is completely flipped. Like I don't really care what's going on with the Cowboys football field. I'm always like when they pan to the cheerleaders, I'm like, who was that?
I got one for you. Jordan Peele fired his entire production team because they lost the rights to
Weapons.
weapons, and they got him instead. And he was like, as Rotten Tomatoes has proved, I guess him isn't scoring as high as weapons is. So he's probably like, yeah, that was a good move on my part. Fuck my team for losing weapons.
Maybe all those fuckers that he fired are buddies
Ooh,
with the writers, and they're like, let's shit on this
yeah, maybe
because
there's
it
a
doesn't make
cabal out
sense.
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I could see that. That could actually make a lot of sense. There was another thing I was thinking of, but I'm starting to lose it. Oh, the movie itself. Did you know it was supposed to be called The Goat or Goat? Like that was the name of it. And they, someone else,
That
I think Sony used the name Goat before they could and copyrighted it, and they had to change it to him.
Well, I think that is better because goat's obviously the theme. Like they're batting
Yeah.
at him. He kills the goat. He walks in. He's stripping the goat skin, and
Yeah, Marlon Wayans has like goats all over the walls, and he's like banging goats and hammering all that.
but him is like that's what the young kids say now. And in football, you want to be him. Tom Brady is the goat. It actually worked out better for them that is the name for this up and coming guy becoming the new goat.
I won't lie to you. If I didn't have my fucking roommates that were just screaming at the TV all the time about sports and shit, I
he's
wouldn't.
him. He's him.
Yeah,
He's him.
yeah, I would think this is a stupid name, but and I'm envisioning myself before having that knowledge, and I would be like, him. That doesn't make any sense. But since I know
It would
sports
be.
culture
Yeah.
just from an osmosis point of view and hearing them yell, he's him, I'm like, okay, that's a good name. And it kind of plays into Jordan Peele's other movies where they're just like, nope, us, get like just one word, him,
Mhm.
tying it into the religious allegories. There's a lot in religion as well. They talk about saints that would see God and they'd be like, who are you? Who are you? And he'd be like, I am he. So I could see that tying into this a bit.
Justin Tipping said he wants to has like floated. There's a rumor that he wants to make a sequel called Her and make this into a franchise about sports. What do we think about that?
Well, I don't know if Justin's gonna get. We might be the only people putting out media that is a positive review of this movie, so we'll see what happens with that.
You know, this
I
movie
mean,
kind of it gives me a similar vibe to the American Psycho movie because that one was shit on and not well received whenever it came out. And
yeah,
it had a lot of like crazy metaphors and weird stuff happening where you're like, what was that? And I kind of had the same vibe when I walked away from this, but it
we
sticks
don't
with you just like that. It makes you think about it.
we don't need to establish, like, we know that there's a million movies that commercially didn't do great that later became great movies. This also only had a $27 million budget, made $14 million on the opening weekend. So those aren't huge numbers, but it's going to turn a profit.
It'll make its money back. Yeah, it'll
And,
definitely get to like 30, 40 million.
What do we think
and
about the performances from the lead actor and Marlon?
I
I
was
mean,
pretty happy with everyone's performance all around. Like, I mean, maybe it was because my expectations weren't very high, but I also think that like Marlon Wayans is like a pretty good crazy guy.
yeah,
Um, they didn't, you know, the Tariq didn't have to talk that much, but also that's kind of the character that he plays in the first place. Like, athletes don't really talk that much. Like that's why only like a few of them are good at TV, and most of them just kind of suck ass afterwards. So.
he sacrificed
Yeah.
everything for his craft. He's not supposed to be able to go
uh,
handle the media, but yeah, they didn't test him that much. So he did good in
Okay.
this role, but like, and now he's defeated Marlon Wayans on camera. Maybe he'll get a bigger role next, but I don't know that I'm super convinced he could go carry a big movie again.
See, I feel half the reason that American Psycho, for example, is so revered nowadays is because Christian Bale went on to become Christian Bale. We got The Dark Knight, we got Vice, we have all
Sure.
these big movies. So I'm wondering if Tyreek is going to have a great filmography and like 20 years from now, people will look back at this movie and be like, whoa, this movie was fucking great. People got it wrong. If they did a movie called Her, would it be about cheerleaders? Or do you think they would go like a softball
It's
route or a soccer
definitely
route?
women's basketball right
It
now.
would,
It's
it,
got
it
to
Women's
would
be
only be
basketball?
women's basketball. It could only be women's basketball. Wouldn't be anything else.
What is this, a racism thing? Why would it be a women's basketball?
because of Caitlin Clark, actually. That's why. Because of Caitlin Clark, women's basketball has become the most relevant women's sports, and all of this drama has been drum up. And there's tons of race stuff to dive into for them in that film. There's tons of
Yeah.
drama about it, and that's what people talk about in the female sports space right now.
She plays for LSU, right?
No, her
Or,
mortal enemy played at LSU.
see, I knew there was some sort of connection.
And the LSU player sucks, and there's lots of highlight videos of her sucking, but she has very fortunately talked so much shit that she's put herself in all of these arguments with Caitlin Clark, and that's how she's gotten famous.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Just
Yeah,
through osmosis, I've heard words like LSU,
Caitlin
Caitlin Clark. And I'm just like,
Sam lives in Baton Rouge, right near the LSU campus, and he's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, Caitlin Clark plays for LSU. All right,
Yeah, dude, I could probably throw a baseball and hit the stadium. And I'm like, yeah, what?
I don't think you can throw that far, Sam.
I was center field, buddy. Don't you worry about me.
Until
Um,
next
uh,
time.